A while ago I did a video about the E-Flite Turbo Timber, a bit late to the game I know, and at the time I thought that this Turbo Timber evolution was months away, but just out of nowhere it popped at my hobby store and I purchased one. And the reason to go for this one over the Turbo Timber, of course this one is actually replacing the Turbo Timber, so going to be the Turbo Timber Evolution, not the Turbo Timber anymore. Just looking at it, you can see that this actually has some red wings on this one and red colors overall with black also. So it does improve visibility immensely, so that's a really nice feature. This one is also a top feeder, so you have the battery hatch on top of the RS airplane held by magnets. So it's much easier to change batteries in this one. This one is also updated with the electronics, so it does feature the AR637TA receiver and avian speed control, which is smart compatible, and you have also reverse thrust. So the electronics inside is more or less like the Night Timber X. It's also really simple to assemble this one, just as the Turbo Timber and the Night Timber X and the Timber X. So I mean, the main wing is just held by 2 screws. The rear stabilizer is also held by 2 screws, and of course you have to assemble put in the landing gears as well. And this one does come with floats, so you have both wheels and floats, which is really nice. And I've flown the Turbo Timber really many times on floats, and I think it's just a fantastic experience. So I expect this one to fly equally great, or hopefully just a little bit better. But I mean, let's go out and fly this one and talk more about what I think about the Turbo Timber Evolution after the flight. Time to Maiden the Turbo Timber Evolution from E-Flite. I expect this one to fly more or less like the older Turbo Timber, so let's get it airborne then. Just as easy to take off with this one as the Turbo Timber. So I'm going to start off pushing this one. So usually I start off to push an RC airplane, then calm down a bit, just to explore the flight envelope. And so far this one just handles great. It feels more or less like the older Turbo Timber. But the red paintings on the wings and the fuse makes this one so much more visible in the air. So you really need to push the throttle, just as the Turbo Timber, to have a faster roll rate. More agility in the aerobatics. When you push it, it surely does become speedy, especially for the 1.5 meter wingspan size. I'm also using my Spectrum NX10 as it is my main TX these days after replacing my DX8 Generation 2. And the NX10 has been working great from the beginning.
Time remaining 2 minutes.
So 2 minutes left on the timer, and I'm going to kick in flaps and check them out.
Landing flaps.
No ballooning. So the flaps do slow down the plane, but thankfully no ballooning, which was the case with the turbo timber and also the other timbers I've tried. So full flaps are engaged, or landing flaps as the voice on the NX10 like to call them. It's a really nice looking RC airplane. I'm just keeping speed up a bit to have it flying. But it does float really nice. And it does also respond really nice to when I just increase the throttle by a tiny bit. So let's get it down then. Push it down and just flare at the end. Yeah, a really nice main landing on this Turbo Timber Evolution. I would say that this flight was really easy. No problem just pushing it. And slow flying, flat flying were just really nice and great. And the landings, as you saw, well, it's a really nice one, this. I had a really enjoyable time to fly the E-Flite Turbo Timber Evolution. If I would compare it just straight off to the Turbo Timber, which this Evolution is actually replacing, I think they improved on everything. Really, there is very little to complain about because it's just a fantastic flying RC airplane. And just to demonstrate one feature which to some might not be important, but if you want to really tuck the plane away and store it in a more convenient way, this one does actually feature these quick connectors for all the wing connectors. So there are two connectors, one for the right side and one for the left side. So it's super easy to, like I've done here, you just remove the wing, and the wing does have these two cables which then connects all the aileron, the flaps and the LED lights. So this system with the quick release is just fantastic, because you remove two plastic screws and then you can store the RC plane in a much better way. So I mean, really, I don't know if there's anything negative to say about it, because it flies great. And if I would compare this for the Turbo Timber and the Night Timber X and the Timber X, the flaps do actually have no ballooning. They just work as they should. They do slow down the plane. And as you saw, the landing was just super nice and smooth. And takeoff with the Turbo Timber and this Turbo Timber Evolution is so easy. So although this plane does feature AS3X and safe, they're hardly needed to do anything really. And there is no real stall tendency to this one as well. It's just a great lift from the wing. And I really dig the colors of the RC airplane. So I mean, this Turbo Timber Evolution, I really sincerely hope that E-Flite or Horizon Hobby will implement this battery hatch on the Timber X and the Night Timber X, because it's just so vastly nicer to actually have a top-mounted hatch where you change the battery. I also believe that the space inside for the battery is improved, so I can put in larger batteries. So I mean, a 3200 milliamp battery should be no problem. I mean, overall, I don't know if there's anything negative to say. I think it flies more or less like the Turbo Timber, except for the flap settings, which if you go by the manual, have some flap mixed with the elevator. It works super fantastic. I think the colors on this one is just awesome, with the red and black and white. And as I said, the wing connectors are really a great improvement. I haven't really noticed that the landing gears are really improved because I greased the landings, and it's not until you actually have a kind of bad landing, and the bad landings are often if you go down and you actually land on one of the landing gears in an angle, and then it probably can break the plastic part underneath, which is this part over here. But I think if you just plop it down with a kind of a hard landing, this one will survive truly without any problems, really. So, I mean, the Turbo Timber Evolution, more or less just a fantastic flying RC airplane. If you could really reach out and think of something that is negative about it, it probably would be that this is not a snappy RC airplane. It doesn't do snappy rolls. Of course, you can do everything from rolls to loops and all sorts of aerobatics, and inverted flying is really nice also. But don't expect this one to be an aerobatic RC airplane. Then again, if you actually do put the Night Timber X or the Timber X shorter wings on this one, it is super agile. It's just like the Night Timber X or Timber X. And I actually prefer to have this 3-bedded prop and the 800 kV motor instead of the 900 kV motor, because I think it does have a nicer prop and motor sound than the Night Timber X. I never really dig the 13x4 prop that was on the Night Timber X. So I think this 3-bedded prop is much better. So I mean, I would certainly put a Night Timber X or Timber X wing on this one and do a flight and share it further on. But for now, I think it's just a great looking, a great flying with lots of great features, this Turbo Timber Evolution from E-Flite.